everybody. Adam Waters here, lead pastor at the Vineyard Church in Bloomington, Illinois. It is September the 20th, and I'm here with our latest vision update. We decided to begin to do these about every 4 to 6 weeks to keep you up to date on what's going on in the life of our church. So you can hear from me, hear my heart, hear my passion, the things that we're seeing, how God is accomplishing things, and where we're going next, and all that kind of stuff. If you guys like this video, we'd love it when you share it on your Facebook page, share it on your YouTube channel. We'll post it in both of those places, as well as you can get access it through our website, vineyardbloomington.com. We are across all the social platforms, so hopefully you are following us on Facebook, following us on Instagram, following us on YouTube every single week. We have lots of things going on in the life of our church, but these are an important time for us to share with all of you what's happened since the last time we shared one of these, and then what will be coming up here in the near future. So we want to keep you up to date. So let me do a little recap of the last time that we talked. The last time that we talked in our vision update, I shared with you some of the staff changes and staff encouragements and the staff more hours being added to our staff and the why behind what we were doing in terms of those additions. And so you've probably seen over the last several weeks, you've seen Charlie jump in and do a lot of neat new things with our social media feed and all the pictures and the things that she's been sharing. She's doing a great job keeping us up to date in the life of what's happening in our church, telling the story of our church, which is what social media is. In fact, I think there's still probably a couple of you out there that might be great at joining her team and helping her capture the story on, especially on Sundays, capture the story of what is happening in our church family, in our church community on a Sunday. We also gave you an update that Bradley Schnitzline, our youth pastor, was coming on for some more hours to help us with our guest services teams, both cleaning and doing some things in a facility during the week, and then preparing for those that are coming for the very first time on Sundays. And so you've maybe seen a better presence at both the doors and our Connect desks and giving away of guest gifts, and it's been really neat to see us connecting with fresh new faces. I think almost every week since actually we did that update here in our church family, in that vision update. I think we've seen some good stuff happen there. One place we know we're seeing a lot of new people is through our online community, and so we've now got a volunteer production intern. His name is Scott Mead. You may know Scott as a volunteer in our Kingdom Kids, somebody who's actually spoken on Sunday mornings, I think twice now at our church as a kind of a guest speaker. But Scott is now volunteering a day in his week, every week, to help in the production area of our church to make sure that our online services are up and going in the best possible way they can. And we continue to see growth in that community as well. We hope to see some of you engage in an online class or engage face-to-face in a live service if you're a part of our online community. We're so grateful that you join us on the weekends. So that's kind of what happened last month. I talked to you guys about staffing, how Charlie and Bradley were moving into new roles, and that we were working on a production intern, and Scott was the guy that jumped into that role here and is doing a really fantastic job helping us out in that way. And we think it's really facilitating some encouraging things on the back end here in our church community. Today, as a vision update, what I want to talk to you guys about is something that you maybe heard me mention before, and I love to use this line of everybody has the same three things. We have time, we have talent, and we have treasure. What do we mean by that? Everybody has the same number of time in the days. Everybody has the same giftings from God, that we all have some kind of talent. Some of us are good speakers, some of us are good at worship leading, some of us are good at rocking babies, some of us are good at cleaning, some of us are good at social media, some of us are good at, God has given all of us talent. So we all have time, same number of hours in the day. We all have talent that is gifted to us by God to use for his kingdom use. And we all have treasure to help to support the mission and vision of the church. Now, what's interesting is I always use them in those three in that order of time and talent and treasure. But I think in terms of the way we contribute to a community of believers and contribute to the vision of a church, we do those things in a different pace and in a different way. I think a lot of times our time comes first, and then our treasure, and then our talent at the end. Let me explain a little bit after I get a sip of water for our communication, for our conversation here today. Time is probably the most important thing that you can contribute to the kingdom mission and vision of this place, of engaging our cities with Jesus' love and good news, and engaging our cities with your time. One of the easiest things you can do is simply say, I'm going to commit to worship services, right? We talked about this. I think it was during one of our series. Maybe it was in the busy, the sermon I preached on being busy, and we talked about how just simply putting it in your phone calendar, pulling that out, and your Google Calendar, your iCal, and going into your calendar apps, and just simply going, all right, I'm going to put in there worship at 10 or 11:15. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of which one makes the most sense for your family. I know a lot of our young families come to 10, and those with older kids like to come to 11:15, or those that work and are really busy on Saturdays like to come to 11:15. But simply putting it in your calendar on your phone, and then clicking weekly repeat on there, so that you're reminded, hey, worship is an important part of my lifestyle with Jesus. It's an important part of being a part of the family of God, and putting it in your calendar actually goes, yeah, this is a commitment that I'm making of my time to helping the mission and vision of my church that I'm a part of, the community that I'm a part of, be successful in its mission to engage our cities, is by being there to hear the messages, yes, to worship, yes, to connect in community, yes, and to feel like you're on the same page that we all are. And so sometimes that time commitment is the very, very first thing. And so when we commit to our time, and here's the deal, we all know this, you're going to have times where you're on vacation, or you have a really, really big thing going on at work or something like that you're going to miss. And so even if you set it for 52 weeks in your calendar, if you make 40 of those, let's say you make 40 of those, you miss 12 times. That's a lot, right? That's like 3 months worth of time. If you make 40 of those, like that's a huge commitment, and it'll have a huge impact on your life to commit of your time to worshiping with the community of faith here in Bloomington-Normal on a weekly basis. So when we're committing to helping the mission and vision of our church succeed, the first thing is usually our time. We got to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to invest my time, at least on Sunday mornings. Now, a lot of you commit to your time in other areas and places, and that's for people that are serving and are much more in-depthly committed to the mission and vision. But if I just say Sunday mornings is kind of a non-negotiable for me, at least 40 times a year, I want to make sure I'm in the church worship service. It will really not only change your life and change your heartbeat and passion for Jesus, but it's probably going to change your heartbeat and your passion for the mission and vision of this place. So when we're saying yes to the vision, the first thing is usually our time. All right. The second thing is, even though I usually say time, talent, treasure, the second thing is usually our treasure, to be honest with you. Once you start to commit your time to a place, the next thing is typically our treasure, like to invest in a place. Jesus says this, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. He doesn't say where your heart is, your treasure will follow. It's actually the things that we invest in financially, a lot of times are the things that we see our heart go towards, right? For instance, I have a car payment. And so I care a whole lot more about my car than you do. And you might have a car payment, and so you're going to care a whole lot about your car than you do about mine, right? It's like Jesus is so wise about this, that where your treasure is, there your heart is also, right? The things that we invest our treasure in, well, first we usually invest our time. Then when we invest our treasure in a mission and a vision, we really go, I care about this being accomplished, right? It's not just we don't throw money at things that we don't care about, are they accomplished? For instance, I'm not throwing money at your car payment, right? Throw money at my car payment because I want to have that debt eventually paid off, right? Same thing with your home or whatever it might be. If you're investing in your high school student's future, you're investing money in that because you want to see that mission of them graduating college succeed, right? And the same thing's true in a church community, in a faith community, in a nonprofit community of any kind, but definitely in a church community is once we start to invest our time in a place, we begin to invest our treasure, and our heart begins to go towards how I want to see that mission and vision accomplished. I want to see them have 200 plus Thanksgiving food boxes. I want to see them have, a youth group of 50 kids. I want to see them have full seats on Sunday morning. I want to see them have as many small groups as possible in as many cities as possible. I want to see them plant churches in places like South Carolina that we're sending Annie and Lauren. I want to see them accomplish that because I've invested my treasure there. And so that's usually the next thing that goes is we begin to invest our treasure in a place. Now, if you've never done that before, I always say it kind of this way. If you've never given anything, just try. try $10 a week. If you invest $10 a week in your local church and you go 40 times a year, right, like we talked about, you've suddenly invested $400 in a community of faith, and you might see somebody's life get transformed or some amazing thing happen in your church because you've invested in that place. If you've never done it, try that. All of our leaders here, we really encourage them to tithe. Tithe is 10% of your income, for instance. So if you make $1,000 a month, you would give $100 to the mission and vision of the church. And we believe that that does two things. Number one, that the tithe blesses the other 90% of your income. And I've seen that in my life over the last 20 plus years. And I can tell you all about that if you ever want to know more about that. But also, when you give 10% of your income towards something, what you see is your heart really goes towards, I want to see that mission and vision accomplished to engage our cities. I want to see them feed a bunch of people at Thanksgiving. I want to see them do amazing stuff on Sundays. I want to see them do great outreaches at Christmas. I want to see them do great things there. And then what happens is when we begin to invest our treasure, that's when the third T comes in. What you see is, man, I'm going there every week and my time investment is there. When I begin to invest my treasure, my heart begins to go towards that mission and vision of the church. And then what happens is, then a lot of people begin to invest their talent then, because you're like, I want to see this thing happen. I want to show up on Monday and pack the Monday before Thanksgiving and pack Thanksgiving food boxes. I want to show up on Wednesday nights and help with the youth ministry. I want to show up at my small group and see people get life-giving prayer and get great community, because my talents need to be used in those places so that the mission and vision gets accomplished. So that's kind of actually how it functions and flows more than anything is we begin to invest our time into a mission and vision to engage our city with Jesus' love and good news. When we begin to do that, we begin to invest our treasure so that our heart goes towards it, not just our time. And then when that happens, a lot of times that's when our talent begins to come into what we want to see done through our local church community. So this is a vision update. So one of the things I would just say to all of you is ask yourself those questions, about the mission and vision of this church family that you're a part of. And if you're not a part of our church family, we would love to have you be a part of our church family. We'd love to have you come on a Sunday morning 40 times in the next year and see if that doesn't change your life. See if that doesn't change your family dynamic. Doesn't change the way you love people and care for people better. See if it doesn't change how much peace you have in life. See if it doesn't change you even emotionally and physically in a powerful way if you invest your time in this place. If you're already part of this place and you're already saying, man, my time is invested there. That's a church family that I have committed to. It's already in my iCal every single Sunday for me to go. I would say the next step for you is probably to say, man, maybe I should start investing my treasure. Even if it's only $10 a week to start, maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's $100 a month, whatever it might be, that I'm going to begin to invest my treasure in there. And so that I can see my heart go towards the mission and vision. Not just my time showing up on Sunday, but see my whole heart go into the mission and vision of what the Vineyard Church in Bloomington-Normal is trying to accomplish. See my heart go towards those Thanksgiving food boxes, towards those Christmas outreaches, towards our youth and children's ministries growing, expanding, becoming the best things that they can be, towards people getting loved and cared for and prayed for in ways that I never thought they would, and begin to invest your treasure. And then for those of you that are already investing of your time, those of you already investing of your treasure in this place, first things first, thank you for doing that. Thank you so much for doing that. Because of your giving of your time and your treasure, people's lives are getting transformed, and we're able to do what we're able to do here. And then if you're already doing those two things, I would say, if you've got some talents that you feel like are unused, reach out to us and say, I think I've got a talent for X. How can I use it to accomplish the mission and vision of the Bloomington-Normal Vineyard? And I think when you do that, you're going to see yourself move from like a receiving phase, because a lot of people come to church in their time and their treasure phase to receive. When you begin to invest your talent into a place, that's when you become a person who's giving towards the mission and vision, not just receiving the mission and vision. And when that happens, everything begins to shift and change for you. So all of that said, the mission and vision of this place is a big place. We are a big dreaming church. We're a big dreaming church about what God's doing here locally in Bloomington and Normal and the surrounding cities. That's why we have, not just weekly services live, but weekly services online. And we also have groups that meet live and online. We have kids ministry, we have student ministries. We're doing outreaches to the poor. We're even going to plant our first church this year, and we've talked a little bit about that. We'll talk about that more probably in one of these longer vision update times. Um, and you know, I've even got like probably in the next month or two, I'm gonna have another like big announcement in terms of like the next big thing that we're gonna do. A little teaser for you. But the vision update right now is like, guys, as we get into the routine of fall, the school's coming back, kind of the normal pattern of a school year with all the groups and all the ministries that are going and flowing now. It might seem like there's not as much stuff like big to announce to you, but what is the big thing to announce to you? Vision update is this: is hey, you know what? We're a family. And the thing is with a church family is we need you guys. You know, we can't be a family with just a mom and dad. A family happens when everybody, all the kids, all the cousins, all the brothers and sisters, all the aunts and uncles, all the grandparents, that makes up the entire family. The entire family is everybody jumping in with their time, coming and investing on Sundays, with their treasure, investing financially into the vision, and with their talents. How can you use the gifts that God has given you to change people's lives for the glory of God? And so when it comes to vision this month, it is the big question we have for you is, you know, what's next for you? What's next for you? Is it the investment of just grabbing your phone and putting in there, hey, I'm committing to 10 a.m. to 11:15 service every single week? Is it the commitment of, hey, I'm going to try giving this year. I'm going to try giving and see if it doesn't move my heart toward the mission and vision? Is it, you know what, I've got some talents that are probably unused in the church right now. Maybe you're good with, I don't know, numbers. Maybe you're good with painting. Maybe you're good with changing diapers and being in the nursery. Maybe you're good with being a welcoming face. And you're like, I have some talents and I'm just not using them yet. And I need to move to that stage in my life. And I'll encourage you to this. When it comes to investing in the mission and the vision of this place, if you find yourself like kind of waxing and waning on one of those three, that's probably the thing that God is calling you into in this season. He's probably calling you into in this season of, hey, it's time for you to be more generous with your resources. It's time for you to be more generous with your time. It's time for you to be more generous with your talent in this season, because you may have felt like those things have one of those things might have slid on you a little bit. And so I think, you know, when you say, I'm going to be generous like Jesus is generous in one of those three areas, you're going to see not only somebody else's life get changed, but your life will actually begin to change and transform. And I got to tell you, those are things that in my own life, I've seen it. You know, I came to faith in 1994 as a young man, and it wasn't until I went from just going to my church to serving in my church that I really felt my call in my heart, my passion towards ministry. And it wasn't until really a couple years in where like I really got impressed upon me to begin to tithe to my local church, to give 10% of my income to my local church. And when I began to do that, I went, oh my gosh, I care so much more about what God is doing, because I'm financially invested, not just invested with my time, but I'm invested with my treasure as well. And that made a huge difference in my life. And I've always seen that that my heartbeat towards a vision goes more when I reinvest in one of those three areas. And I think you'll find the same is true for you. You know, I had a kind of off the side meeting this past week. And, you know, one of the things that we always talk about is those who have committed to, man, every week, as much as I am able, I'm going to be involved in my time. You know, they're the people that are growing. They're the people in our church that catch the heartbeat of the vision of the church. And when I look and I go, oh man, it's that person investing in their treasure and their talents. It's like they go up on a whole nother level. And I think maybe that's the encouragement that I have for you in terms of vision this month, is really just go, you know, I want to see some amazing stuff happen through my church. And if that's true, which area, which of those three things, time, treasure, or talent, is the thing that I'm being called into in this season? And so I hope all that makes sense. Guys, we're going to do this every month. Sometimes it'll be big updates like we did with staff updates. Sometimes it'll be maybe an encouraging word, hopefully from me. But about every 4 to 6 weeks, I'm going to do my best to come on here and share with you for 10 to 20 minutes about what we see God doing in the life of our church. And I got to tell you, I see some really good things right now in our groups, in the excitement around Thanksgiving boxes, we've gotten some great feedback on our last couple of sermon series. And we see you guys really investing and asking for community and for prayer. And I think the Lord's up to some big stuff. I just want to encourage you that you don't want to miss out on it. So jump into one of those 3 T's and see what God does in your heartbeat this month. Talk to you soon. Bye.